How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Athletes Hub podcast, another weekly football roundup, right in the middle of the international break as we record. As always, joining me to go through all of the latest news and ongoings is Flexx. How's it going, bro?
Yes, I'm good, man. It's hey, we thank God this is international friendlies and not the actual tournament, right?
As you can see, guys, on the left-hand side of your screen, you can see the result. Listen, there's been a lot of games going on, and obviously Friday was quite eventful. I went to the England game, which we'll talk about in a bit. But yeah, I guess like you mentioned, we got to start with the Ghana Blackstars team, and the absolute thrashing that we received at the hands of Austria on Friday. And I didn't actually. My uncle told me that this game was happening, and I didn't know the result until somebody texted me whilst I was at Wembley and sent me a screenshot just like this of the full-time result, and I was thinking, like, what's gone on there? I mean, again, I didn't watch the game because I was out, but yeah, 5-1 away, 5-1 against Austria is not exactly the best preparation for a World Cup, to be honest. Did you watch the game?
You know what? I caught it quite late because, like you, I didn't realize it was actually being played on that particular day. And so it was when I went onto live score, because I was actually trying to find out when England were playing. And then I was like, oh, snap, we're playing. So then I got in maybe about 55, 60 minutes in. And by that time, am I lying? Because 59 minutes. That's where I got it. So it's about 60 minutes. So it was already like 3-0 at that point. I was like, geez, like we're already fried over here, like, And
Do you know what, Flexx? I mean, people spoke about, listen, there's been a lot of uproar, obviously the Ghanaian community, there's been a lot of disappointment and quite, I guess, a lot of shock regarding the result, right? And I think, listen, it's a friendly match. These games are really for the head coach to look at the team and decide, make use of his squad, maybe try different approaches that they can practice for the World Cup tournament. I'm not saying there's an overreaction, right? But I think, listen, it's a friendly match. I expect Ghana to be a lot better in a tournament when they play the likes of England, Panama, Croatia, because that's a tough group. And if they're not better in a tournament, then they're going to go out really early. But at the same time, I'm not expecting the Black Stars to lose 5-1 to Austria. I mean, this is not the exact preparation that we want for a World Cup tournament, because if we remember, right, 2022 World Cup, we didn't get out of the group, if I'm correct.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't. AFCON tournament 2024 was an absolute disaster. We spoke about that at the time. We didn't qualify for that recent AFCON tournament, and also we just about qualified for this World Cup. So the Ghana Black Stars have got a lot of making up to do in terms of regaining that trust from the supporters, because the last few performances in the last few tournaments and even qualifying stages have not been good enough. Yeah. And losing 5-1 to Austria, again, Austria are not the worst footballing team in the world, but they're not the very best. So I'm not sitting there expecting the Black Stars to be thrashed 5-1. And the coach is coming under a lot of pressure. And I mean, what's your thoughts on that? Again, I think there's not been an overreaction. I'm not going to say an overreaction, right? Because the Black Stars have standards, and we expect the Ghana Black Star team to give teams or be competitive in matches, right? But what's your thoughts on this? Are you worried about how this could potentially affect the World Cup? Are you worried about the preparation, or are you just thinking, listen, it's a friendly match, we'll see what happens in the real tournament?
I mean, one thing for sure is that as a nation, we do kind of put it together when it's crunch time. Yeah. And we do the boys do find it within themselves to, get a result or to apply themselves. And so we got to take the loss with a pinch of salt, in the way maybe certain boys didn't give 100%, because you still got to go back to club football. You have your deliverables over there. There's injury concerns as well, so you might not want to take it so serious that you do get injured and now you're out of the whole tournament, right? You do an ACL or whatever the case is. So I mean, even then, 5 is still a lot to ship for a friendly. Do you see what I mean? But I would look at it as, there's room for improvement. We got Germany today, I think it is.
Yes, we've got Germany today. As we recall, guys, it's a Monday, so they're scheduled to play at 6:45 p.m., I believe.
There you go. So I'll be watching that, and I will keep tabs on the performance there. If they can somewhat balance the books by way of not getting beat so bad, where it's like a closer affair, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2, that type of thing, then I can say, okay, like there's something there. You know what I mean? We're just not showing our full selves, like almost like a catfish. You don't want people to really know what you're about before you get to the tournament. So maybe, friendlies are there to try different things, experiment players in different places, experiment systems, conditions, this type of stuff. So I won't take the scoreline so serious. I think it would be better if the coach came out and say that, oh, this is what we were actually trying to achieve. So we're not concerned about the scoreline because it's a friendly. We're just trying to see, we're trying players in these positions. We're trying to see what our best 11 is based on current form. Tell us something of that sort. And then we can say, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Like England did, they didn't play their best 11 when they played against Uruguay, but they wanted to see, if you're called upon, can you actually get a job done? And, in these different positions, can you deliver? So even with England, the draw, not a problem. And it was a last minute penalty anyway. Do you see what I mean? So not a problem. But that's what I want to hear. And I'm not hearing that from the camp at this time. So
did you see Otto Addo's press conference? He had a bit of a fiery exchange with one of the journalists who said that the journalist said that Otto Addo didn't know what he was doing and he just wasn't good when it comes to coaching. And I don't think
they always send for him. It's not fair. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not fair because look, Mr. Journalist, if you're that good, then why don't you go and coach the national team? We all have opinions, but none of us are actually sitting in the hot seat getting the job done. So our opinions mean absolutely nothing. I'll be here probably on our next roundup talking absolute rubbish if we go and get pumped. But would I be the one sitting in there as the manager or coach of Ghana? No. Do you see what I mean? So your opinion means nothing in the space where my man actually has to get the job done and he's there and knows what he can do, what he can't do, these type of things. From the outside looking in, it looks like a lot more can be done. But maybe there's actual limitations there, So
I think that's always the case, though, Flexx, with the Ghana national team. I think we have, listen, I think Ghana have high expectations. Like I mentioned earlier, we haven't lived up to those expectations in recent times because we haven't qualified for AFCON tournament. 2022 World Cup, we didn't get out of the group, just about qualify for this one. Our last AFCON was a disaster. So Ghana have to start to rebuild that trust and that respect from journalists or the fans. I think there is a case that nothing will ever be good enough for some of the supporters, to be honest, no matter what you do. Also, you've got a manager there in Otto Addo who was let go after the 2022 World Cup. Chris Hughton came in, that didn't go well. He's been brought back in. So he needs, again, I think it's fair to ask questions. Again, I think it's a friendly match, as you mentioned, that it's a chance for the coach to just see different players and try to establish a way of play, maybe try and get some cohesion among the players. Because again, as much as it doesn't matter, in terms of maybe the World Cup's in June, and this is meaningless, but you don't want to be heading into the World Cup in this type of form, right? Because I think Ghana have to show that they can compete with the very best teams, and I think they can do on their day. That's clear. And if they were to put performances like they done on Friday against the likes of Croatia, Panama, and England, they won't make out the group. That's a fact. But I expect them to be better, and I think they will be better. But at the same time, we still need to see some stuff. We can't, as you said, we can't ship 5 to Austria. That can't happen. That can't become a habit of a team who wants to achieve, who wants to compete, and wants to do well. These friendlies are a good chance to build that confidence, right, and show people, listen, we're a threat going into the World Cup. The moment you keep shipping 5, does that become a habit in a tournament as well? Are we going to ship 5 against Croatia, against Panama, against England? These are little questions, and this is what the coaching staff and Otto Addo have to get under control. Because, it's a friendly, but it's not a good habit to have, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's definitely not a habit you want to bring into a tournament. But like I say, it's a friendly. And just like in club football, you can't take preseason too serious. Like by way of a team can have a great preseason and then lose and draw the first 5 games at the start of the season. Yeah. So, like, what does that mean? Do you see what I mean? So when we get to the club time, that's when we'll see who's who. After the first, let's say the second game in the World Cup, then we know who's who and like what's going on and who's where. Like, I look at the French squad, what they have, which is a benefit, is the fact that a good 80% of their players are playing in a side that is top of the league or damn near competing to win the league. So as an individual, that player is on form. And so it's easier to carry that as an individual who's meeting up with other individuals that are already in that winning mood. But when you're mixing a team that's got players that are playing in the Championship, League One, Premier League and the other variants of the top divisions across the globe, and they might not be doing well. It's hard because every player is at a different stage, by way of form, so it becomes a bit difficult. But one thing I'll say is big shout out to Jordan Ayew. Fantastic goal. He absolutely slapped it, and it was a great finish. So
Ayew, listen, one thing to say about Ayew, he's always turned up, whether it's through qualifiers, whether it's through major tournaments. People might say, yeah, maybe he's not the greatest player in the world, but he's someone who always turns up, gives it his best for the Ghana Blackstars, and we can forgive him for that, for sure. I think all we want is effort in the team, and people, I don't think we want to carry passengers, because again, the World Cup is tournament football, and you haven't got that much time to find your foot in or to bed in, right? You need to get results quickly, or you're going to go home very, very quick. So that's what they got to keep in mind. As you mentioned, the example with club football, you've got a whole season to get your act together. In tournament football, you've got a limited time between games to try and find the right solutions to approach the games in the right way. But listen, we'll see what happens against Germany tonight. We'll see what happens. But like I mentioned before, went to watch England on Friday, and yeah, it wasn't. Do you know what? It wasn't the most exciting game. Obviously, it ended 1-1. Ben White come off the bench to score before Uruguay got the late penalty to make it 1-1. And yeah, again, I was at the game. It wasn't a lot to shout about, to be fair. First half was, stop-start. Wasn't many chances or glimpses, from Rashford, Madueke. But no, it just wasn't a lot there. And I was actually disappointed with the lineup because I'm expecting the heavy hitters like Saka, Kane, Declan Rice to feature Bellingham, but they were rested and given time off, which I'm not sure why they were called up in the first place. But the likes of, Trafford started, Lewis Hall came on, Harvey Barnes came on as well, Palmer, etc. Wharton played as well, Kobe Mainoo. So it was a chance to see some of these other players and see what they could offer. Foden didn't really, do too much as well. And there's been a lot of concern about his form with England. But yeah, it wasn't a lot to shout about. But again, they got Japan on Tuesday. Hopefully, that will be a better performance. I was going to ask you, what's your thoughts on Ben White? Because when he came on, the stadium actually booed. I booed a little bit, I can't lie. Yeah, he's been criticised, obviously walking away from the camp in 2022, and people thinking, why is he, why is he being called up, or why is Trent not being called up? But what's your thoughts on the booing of Ben White?
I mean, nobody really knows what went on between him and Gareth's setup, right? So clearly, there's something personal that's gone on over there. Why he decided just to say, you know what, like so far as this guy and his setup is in charge, I'm not going to be a part of it. And until, part A comes out and then maybe part B or side, Gareth's side come out with it, or, White's side come out with it, we just have to respect that. You know what? I think he did the right thing. Why be around if you can't tolerate certain people, or certain people are treating you a certain way, or whatever the setup was?
Isn't there a case that can't you just suck it up, right, and just be there, because you're getting paid to do it? It's a privilege to play for England. You're at World Cup. Not many players get to do that. So if you're falling out with people, I respect they're key people in the setup, as in coach and assistant coach, but can't you just? There's plenty of players who didn't get along, or players who didn't like managers who will still play for them regardless of the situation. So isn't there a case of can't you just suck it up and just carry on until tournament's done?
Do you know what it is? It's easier to do for club football and suck it up because that's where you get paid. When you play for England, I think you keep a small portion of the money, or maybe you don't even get no money. I think it all goes to charity anyway. So it's one of those things where it's like, for him, he's just thought probably, I could do without the aggro. So I'll just sit on the sidelines until somebody who I can respect, or who respects me, again, I don't know what happened on either side, and I'll be right back like I never left. And guess what? Sod's law will have it like he was back like he never left. He got that the first goal of the game, and hey, good luck to the lad. We need, if he's going to decide to keep Trent sitting at home, and we know we're going to start with Reece James, then it's between Livramento and White, for that right back position. We know Jed Spence can cover both sides, so that's an option. So we'll see. He's put himself in contention. His only issue now is the fact that he doesn't get a game time at Arsenal, because Timber's doing such a great job. And for me personally, I don't want England to pick players based on past reputation or whatever the case is. If he's not getting a good run in at Arsenal, then for me personally, he should be left at home. And players like Livramento, who is actually getting game time at Newcastle, should be playing ahead of Ben White if Reece James is not available. And of course, Jed Spence can play on either side. Ezri Konsa can do that as well. So there's options. There's options.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I was pleased. It's funny because we were sitting behind some Newcastle fans. Shout out to the Newcastle fans, by the way, who sit in front of us. Been a lot of noise when Livramento was playing. Obviously, Harvey Barnes came on and Lewis Hall came out. And I've got to say, Lewis Hall's been awesome at Newcastle. I've got to say, I know he was at Chelsea before, wasn't he?
Yes.
And he's been a great player for Newcastle this year. And I was pleased to see him get his cap on Friday. But I agree with you. Listen, players who... I think Tuchel's got a system. He's got certain profiles that he wants to pick. I think he's very heavy reliant on defensive players who can keep the team solid and then rely on the forward players to express themselves in the attack. But listen, with Ben White, again, as you said, only he knows what happened, and he and the people involved know what happened. But as long as he plays for England and he gives it his all, then fair enough. But I guess, yeah, I think we all as fans, think of it as okay, you guys are in privileged positions. No, if we worked with someone in our normal jobs and we didn't get along, would we walk away? No, because we need the money, firstly. Secondly, we're privileged to be in that position, right? So I hoped for him it didn't get to a point where he regretted doing that, particularly if England won something in that tournament, because he might look back on it and regret that. But listen, he's back in the fold now, and we'll see what happens. England play against Japan on Tuesday, so that should be interesting. Listen, another bit of breaking news this week. Igor Tudor's gone from Tottenham Hotspur. They announced that they've parted ways with him and following their 3-0 home defeat to Nottingham Forest. And listen, I know Igor Tudor's dad passed away as well. So, that wasn't obviously great at the time. And I think probably if you look at the situation, Tottenham not really doing particularly well. And obviously Igor Tudor's suffering the bereavement. I think probably it's ideal in terms of the timing of, parting ways. Were you surprised by this? I wasn't surprised that he left. I'm just surprised they waited until now to do it. I thought after the first game they would have done it straight away, but they waited a bit of time. So were you surprised by the departure?
I mean, no, because unfortunately Igor's dad passing kind of created the scenario where they could say, you know what, go and be with your family. Don't worry about what's going on over it. Because they were looking for a way out, let's be honest.
Yeah.
They were looking for a way out. And this was an easy way out. So they've just taken that easy way out, and I guess they'll be looking for someone else. I mean, I hear that they haven't actually prepared for a person to replace Igor, which is a bit of a disappointment. But, I'm sure there will be someone who will.
What do you think, Flexx? What do you think they do all this time, though? Because you're thinking you're going to sack a guy. There's international break. There's been no football. So if you've not got anyone prepared to sack it or to take over from Igor, what are they doing at this time?
What are they doing? I mean, the other coaches and whatnot are there, so they'll be taking the reins at this time, and I guess they'll just be, doing their risk assessment to see, look, if we just have someone from within who can carry the team up until I think it's 8 games left or something like that. Yeah. And so if someone can come in and just do that for us from within, then fantastic. We get a bit of breathing space and we can really go and find someone. If not, who can we get in for this very, very short period? Because nobody really wants to take it at this time. Let's be honest. Let's be real. Like, would you want to take the job at this time? 8 games to go, flirting heavily with relegation, your reputation as a manager on the line. There's only one man actually for this job, and that's Big Sam. Right, but I don't know if Big Sam is available. Do you see what I mean?
So Big Sam's available, but there's also the question of, okay, well, he was at Leeds a couple of years ago and they went down. You didn't keep him up. So I think, do you know what? I think, as you mentioned, right, we're at a stage now where I might disagree and say I think this is a great opportunity for someone to come in and be a hero, because if you've gone through 2 managers already, you've gone through Thomas Frank and you've gone through Igor Tudor, right? At some point, it has to be the players. And if a new manager comes in and they still go down, they can say, you know what, you've had 2 managers, it's not worked. So that means the players must be the issue, right? However, if you come in and you save Tottenham, then you're the hero. You've done what the previous 2 managers couldn't do, and that's keep Tottenham in the Premier League. So I think it's a great opportunity for managers to come in there to be the hero. But again, it comes down to the point where you can find someone who is a club man, who lifts the players up, gives them confidence, but that doesn't guarantee that Tottenham are going to survive. It doesn't guarantee that, because at the moment it's a dogfight at the bottom. Forest beat them convincingly at home. West Ham have got Wolves next. You probably expect West Ham to get a result, and Spurs have got Sunderland away, which is a very difficult game. So you can find in their mind the right candidate or the perfect candidate, but that doesn't stop you from potentially getting relegated. Tottenham are in a real danger of going down this season. Like they need to, the players. We spoke about this with TT and Jay a couple of weeks ago. At some point, I'm not gonna. Players want managers to come in there, put arm around them, etc. Listen, you've been crap all season. Like if you guys don't do your jobs right and you don't fix up, you're gonna go down, and that's on you. You've had 2 managers this season, and they've not been able to get a reaction from you, and you can potentially get a third person, and that could still not do the job. So at some point, the players have to take responsibility. They've been shocking all season. They've been shocking all season.
They have been, and they have a lot to answer for, even if they do survive, right? So for me, it's a tough one. By way of no one wants to take it on because there's no promise of being there full time. They're in a very difficult position. So
it could be a hero, Flex. They could be a hero because again, if it doesn't work out, you can say, "Listen, well, we come in. You've had 2 managers already. It's not worked. That means it can't be my fault. You're the players. It must be your fault." Whereas if you flip it and say, "Well, I've kept them up. You're the hero now."
I mean, sometimes if you don't keep them up, what is said of you then, right? Then you're the guy who.
Yeah, but you came into a situation. You came into a burning building that was burnt anyway, bro. Like the toast was burnt. When the toast is burnt, it's black. You can't make it white again, can you? It's black.
No, you can't. But I mean,
exactly. It's not your fault.
Well, this is the problem, right? But it's all about perception, right? Who's holding the toast last? That's
what are people doing to make it black though? Do you know what I mean? Like, come on. I can't put a toaster up because the toaster has got to be operated by somebody, right? So the players, you guys are on there, you got to take responsibility. You've allowed your toast to be burnt all season to the point where it's unrecognizable. You can't salvage it. And I'm just coming in there trying to do my best, but unfortunately, I'm too late. But however, if I save it, I'm the hero now. I'm the miracle worker. So it could be 2 ways, you know what I mean? But listen, we'll see what happens. We'll see who they bring in. Ryan Mason and obviously there's been talk about Big Ange coming back. Not sure if those 2 would be the right candidates, but we will see on that front. I read a report actually the other day about football kits now being really expensive. And what's the last kit you bought? What's the last replica shirt you bought?
The last replica shirt I bought would have been Chelsea's shirt. I think it was last season's shirt. I bought that one, and that was about 85 quid, I think, thereabouts.
85 quid.
Yeah. I bought it. I bought it straight out of the. I went to the shop in Stamford Bridge and bought it, and I think that's probably why it was a little bit more. I should have maybe have gone somewhere else, but at the time,
and that was for the shirt only, right? There was no nothing else, just a shirt.
Dude, I didn't get the socks. I didn't get the shorts. I didn't get a name printed at the back. Yeah, £85. I didn't get a name printed at the back on nothing. So no, like you're absolutely right. It's outrageous, the prices. But you know what it is? I feel like it's outrageous here. And when you go other places, the price is actually slightly cheaper. It's the same way that we pay quite a lot to watch, let's say, a Sky Sports subscription, TNT and the rest. But when you go to other countries, they get to watch all of the games with no issue, and they pay the same fee that you would pay for just your one Sky Sports subscription, but they get all the games. But then you have to pay for TNT, Sky Sports, Amazon, because some of the games end up over there during December, January, and whatever else. So it's like that with the kits. You know, you go somewhere else, like probably go Asia, go Japan or something. You can get yourself an Arsenal kit, no problem, for like maybe half the price.
Yeah, it's good. I remember going back in the day, going to like do you remember JJB Sports?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, JJB Sports with my mum. To be fair, I was quite lucky growing up. I got a lot of kits, whether it's United kits or England kits. But I remember going to shops and like looking at kits and thinking these are like £35. Mum saying to me, "These are expensive." Yes, when you fast forward it to now, right? If you're a parent and your child wants replica shirts or the whole kit, you're spending at least £100 on this stuff. And say they get a new kit every season, you have to spend on that as well. Plus, you're paying for tickets for games if you're a match goer as well. So yeah, the kits nowadays, I think the New England kit is £69.99, so £70. It's just kind of it's really, really expensive, man. But again, I was lucky growing up. I managed to get a lot of kits, and I think my last kit or my last shirt was probably the 2013 season when Van Persie joined. I think that was my last one.
It's not a bad one.
Yeah, it tells you how long ago United won the Premier League, which is a shame. But
you know what? I do think you guys are probably on current form. you're probably 2 seasons, 3 seasons away from winning it. As much as it hurts me to say this.
I hope so, man. I hope we can win it within the season. But who knows, man? Who knows? But listen, the kit's great. I love the kits. I mean, the kits were. I don't know if you think the kits look better now or back then. But my favorite ever football kit, probably I'd say at United, was probably the 06-07 kit or the shirt. I love that shirt.
Did you know what? Do you know the club that genuinely has the best looking kits? And I don't even like this club, but Arsenal's kits over the years and even just their wearables are amazing, man.
I think Arsenal's fashion. You're right. The wearables, like the tracksuits, the other stuff.
That looks awesome, man. I'm like, this looks amazing. I saw one Chelsea did a collab with Drake's OVO, and it was for some sort of like similar to like an Avrex jacket or whatever, but it was all in the Chelsea colors and OVO and whatnot. I went and checked how much that was. I said, ain't no way. Like that was going for clear 600, 700 pounds.
Wow.
I was like, ain't no way. You know what I mean?
You can go on holiday with that money.
Bruh, say that again. You know what I mean? Like,
that money's madness, honestly. Honestly, the kits prices now. Listen, because if you're watching this and you guys buy kits, let us know in the comments. What do you think about the price of football kits now? Because especially if you've got kids now and they want all these things, like how do you afford it? But before we move on, I think Barcelona, they've always got top kits as well. I love Barcelona's kits. I love the colours. Brilliant.
The colours are good.
But I think my favourite football kit is probably, or favourite shirt is probably the 06-07 United one. I love that one. Wore it everywhere. Went to Ghana, wore it everywhere, man.
Yeah. Kits in general. Yeah. In absolute general, what kit could I say? I like the Juventus black and gold. I forget what year that one was in, but the black and gold of Juventus, because that
the 90s had good kits as well. Like 90s international kits were decent.
Yeah, very, very good. I'm sure one of these days they might have a season where they do like a retro fit out, like
they should do that.
They should do it just to throw it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like for a season, just go back to wearing like old sponsors. Remember, you used to have like sponsors. Used to be like Sharp. JVC and Arsenal one, that just classic sponsors, right? And even the Newcastle kit in the 90s was great, like that massive
with the big
like just iconic football kits. You know what I mean? They don't do like that. They don't do things like that anymore, which is a shame. But yeah, back in the day, like growing up, football kits were everything back then, to be honest. And also listen, bring it back to my next subject. I was thinking about the other day, actually. I was going through football games, and I think we mentioned this one of our previous podcasts, but I was looking at football games over the years and just thinking how different they are now. And I just kind of thought about my 4 favorite football games of all time: FIFA 2003, Pro Evolution 6, Football Manager 2008, and FIFA 12. And what's your favorite football game or football games of all time?
Football Manager, number 1 for me. I think the greatest football game you could ever play. But that's if you're someone who genuinely enjoys football and enjoys the aspects of managing and all the nuances around football all the nuances that go into football, as opposed to just playing a game. Outside of that, I would say FIFA 2007 was really, really good. I remember having countless tournaments with friends, family members, and whatnot on that. PES 6 and 5, I think 5 and 6, they were elite football games, those two. It's such a shame that that whole brand has just fallen off. But
it's called eFootball now, isn't it? So
I've got it installed on the PlayStation. I play a couple of our family members on there, and it's decent. No, it's decent. It's a free game. You can just download it. It's a free game.
Yeah, I've seen it. I just haven't downloaded it because I've just thought.
It's like it's decent. I would say it's decent. If you're ever tired of EAFC and you want something else to play, then it's a good one to play. Like that's how I've always treated it. I'll bang out the FIFAs and then I'll get pro on the back end. Just as probably like in the summertime where football's kind of gone down a bit, then I'll get pro, do Master League, and that will carry me up until the point the new FIFA comes out, and then I'm back on FIFA again. So that was kind of like my cycle. But for me, it'll be, if I'm ranking them, I'll go Football Manager number 1, any flavor of FIFA number 2, then it will be like the PES collective. And there was once a game called LMA Manager, which I would actually put in there. That for me would probably go in, say, third, because they basically took FIFA, like the graphics and everything of FIFA and whatnot, and so you could proper watch the game like you was playing FIFA, but you was the manager, and it was at that time, I would say it was better than what was called Championship Manager before it became Football Manager.
Yeah, I agree. So the Football Manager games were really, really good. I'll definitely say between Pro Evolution Soccer 6 to Pro Evolution Soccer 6. Sorry, Pro Evolution 4 to Pro 6. That period of those trio of games were so good in terms of mechanics. Of course, the licensing was always an issue, but I think the gameplay matched up for it. The Master League was fantastic as well. And those are games that you actually felt when you're playing a football game, you actually felt it, which is strange to say. But when you're passing the ball or shooting, it just felt organic. It felt fresh. It felt real. And obviously the FIFA series between 2009 to 2013, I thought that was a really good series as well, and I thoroughly enjoyed playing. I think FIFA 2003 is my first football game on the PS2, so that always special place for me. FM, Football Manager 2008, used to stay up all hours playing that with the likes of Quabner, and I think maybe you were in some of the leagues as well, maybe some other people. So yeah, these are great memories, man, and it's just a shame how football games are they don't feel the same anymore as they used to,
I mean, in some cases, like, it's improved, and in other cases where like there's been zero improvement and they've just done a transfer update. Really, that's all they've really done.
But those games back then felt original, right? They felt different. They felt like you're in the world of a game, whereas it feels like, as you said, now it's all sort of microtransactions. There's not been too much updates, but again, there's no competition, is there? When you've got one brand dominating constantly, there's no real pressure to actually improve your game, because you're still going to have that loyal fan base who are going to buy the game every year, despite there being no real updates.
No, absolutely, I agree with you, sir.
Yeah, this is to finish off. Salah's leaving Liverpool. Salah is going. He announced he's leaving end of the season. I wasn't surprised. I think after December, after the Leeds game, it was clear that this will be his last season. And I mean, what do you make of him leaving? Where do you think he'll go next?
He's got to go Saudi, man, and collect that bag. But
I don't think so. I think he'll go to somewhere in Italy, to be honest.
But that's where I was gonna say. But he could end up at like a Napoli or something like that with KDB and the rest, and go out there, win a Scudetto, and then go to Saudi. But I feel like the Saudi one is probably, it's worth doing, only because look, he's won everything there is to win in football. So why not go in your last 3-4 years, get a massive contract, that Ronaldo money, that life-changing money. I mean, he's already got life-changing money, but the life-changing money for his kids, and just secure the future of when you're no longer here no more, and your family members all have to have pictures of you in their house because they realize that you're the one who bust the door for them. What I mean? Go and get that kind of money. You see what I mean? Like, and we all know if he goes up to Saudi, literally, him being Muslim and, being in Egypt, which is not far away from Saudi, all of these things, the brand deals are going to be unreal. Like outside of what they're going to be paying him. Oh my goodness. You're not doing, at this point, when you've won everything, you're not doing it for the love of football. You're just doing it for the love of your family, which is to secure the bag. You see what I mean? Secure that generational wealth. There's no need, like, where you're going to go to Italy and maybe win something, and then you've lowered your value for that big bag in Saudi or whatever. Like, just go over there, go grab the bag, and even if you did it for 2-3 years, it's Italy. You can always come and, you can come for a loan or something and then quickly have a little run around and then jog on again. You know what I mean?
It's funny to put. I just feel like he's the type of character who I feel like last season he felt, even this season, he's feel like maybe people have doubted him a bit. They've kind of looked down on him a bit. And I think he feel like he's still got a point to prove in the top leagues, and he might want to go somewhere and prove that he can still do at the top level and maybe win another trophy. So as much as there are valid points in terms of him going and, earning his money now and, just relaxing for the rest of his career, I think that he'll probably feel like he's got a point to prove, and he'll probably use people's opinions of him this season to prove them wrong in the next 2 seasons at least, I think. But listen, it remains to be seen. But listen, Flexx, as always, it's been great to catch up. Guys, continue to follow us on Instagram. We're on TikTok now as well. We're also on X. And of course, it goes without saying, continue to like and subscribe on YouTube. Let us know your comments down below on our subjects today. And until then, we'll catch you guys in the next episode.
Take care, guys.